There are two things that are very misunderstood about challenges or messes. The first is that if we have a challenge or we have a mess, then we're doing something wrong. And the second is that if we have a challenge or a mess, there's nothing we can do about it. Hey friends, this is Coach Mandy-Marie. Today I'd like to share with you how my messes became my message and how that message transformed my life into hope and forward movement, and how it is doing the same for people that I work with. In the fall of 1999, I began to notice something. I felt more sad and discouraged than I did happy. And the craziest part was that I had so many amazing things happening in my life. I could not understand why I felt so sad and so down in the dumps. I'll never forget standing at a window in our home and looking outside. It was a beautiful day, and I remember feeling and wondering, is this really how I'm going to feel for the rest of my life? What is happening to me? Several years into our parenting, my husband and I began to experience some significant challenges in our parenting. We thought that if we just spoke a little louder or waxed philosophical a little bit more, that things would change. In the midst of this, I had a pretty dominant thought. It was, well, I guess this is just my lot. Guess this is just what I need to deal with. Mental illness, all right, I hope I can survive it. Parenting challenges, I must have done something wrong. I must be doing something wrong, and that's why we're having the challenges we're having. We live in a world filled with depressed and anxious people. Parenting challenges are at an all-time high, and too often we as human beings define who we are by whatever challenges we're experiencing in our lives. I want to help you because I have been on the inside of mental illness, of parenting challenges, and of what seems like insurmountable challenges or messes. I've been on the inside with all of those things. I approached the first 10 years of my depression very quietly. Most people had no idea I was dealing with what I was dealing with. And my main thought every morning when I woke up was, God, please help me just make it through today. Subconsciously, I now recognize that I believed that I had done something wrong. And that's why I was suffering. That's why I was dealing with depression. I had done something wrong. When parenting challenges knocked on our door, I once again thought I had done something wrong. I was sure that if I had just done such and such and such and such, that we wouldn't have the challenges that we were dealing with. The more that challenges came, the more that messes showed up in my life. I kept wondering what I was doing wrong. I thought that I was being very intentional. And if you're really intentional, then challenges don't come. There are two things that are very misunderstood about challenges or messes. The first is that if we have a challenge or we have a mess, then we're doing something wrong. And the second is that if we have a challenge or a mess, there's nothing we can do about it. We just need to write it out and hope that it eventually smooths out and goes away. One of the most impactful skills that I began to learn in my journey was how to appropriately express myself. And as I began to practice this skill, I began to learn that while there are things that I could change to improve relationships and improve what I thought about myself, I was not a bad person. My value had not decreased because I was having challenges. That was an eye-opening experience for me, and it's happened multiple times and continues to happen. Today, I want to share with you that skill. Grab a notebook and a pen and sit down. Next, answer this question. I feel blank because of the blank mess in my life. Write everything that comes to mind. No one's going to read it. Just write. And when there's nothing left, then rip it up. And then, in your notebook, write a statement about how you want to feel about learning what the message of your messes. How do you want to show up about that? How do you want to feel about it? This skill can be applied every time you feel frustrated, overwhelmed, when you feel like you don't have answers or solutions to the messes that are in your life. Then is a great time to sit down and take 2 minutes to express the feelings that are going on inside of you and the thoughts that are going on inside of your head. I invite you to start today in this journey to becoming the best version of you. And I offer you the hope. It is absolutely possible for you to take whatever messes are in your life and help them to become your personal message. We live in a world filled with depressed and anxious people. We live in a world where parenting challenges are at an all-time high. We live in a world where people define who they are by their challenges. I invite you to step into the journey of becoming the best version of you, of taking whatever messes are in your life and looking at them and finding what the messages are for you. Hope for healing and hope for becoming the best version of you is why this matters. The world is waiting. Are you ready for more? Join me over the next several months as I present webinars and offer group coaching classes on empowered parenting, thriving in the midst of challenges, and emotional resilience with depression. Our first topic will be empowered parenting with a webinar to be held on Wednesday, September 21st at 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Central Time. Register at CoachMandy-Marie.com. See you then.